the square of a trinomial consists of the sum of the squares of the first, this is the first, the second, and the last terms. Then twice the product of the first and the second. Then twice the product of the first in the last terms, and twice the product of the second in the last terms. So we have r squared plus t squared plus n squared plus twice the product of the first in the second, so we have r times negative t plus twice the product of r n plus twice the product of negative t times n. So that is r squared plus the square of negative t, that is positive t squared plus n squared. Then 2 times r times negative t, that is negative 2r t. Then 2 times r times n, that is 2r n. Then positive 2 times negative t times positive n, that is negative 2t n. Square of the first plus the square of the second plus the square of the last terms plus twice the product of the first and the second plus twice the product of the first and the last term plus twice the product of second and the last term. Simplify, that is a squared plus 4a squared plus q squared plus is 4ae plus 2aq plus 4aq. Okay, for this number 3, this is the factor of the square of m plus a minus y. You simplify, so that is equal to, we have m squared plus a square of negative y plus twice the product of the first, second, plus twice the product of the first and last, then twice the product of the second and the last term. This is equal to m squared plus a squared plus y squared plus 2 ma minus 2 my minus 2ay. You have 2s plus o minus 4n squared. That is the square of 2s plus square of o plus the square of negative 4n plus twice the product of the 2s and o plus twice the product of 2s and negative 4n plus twice the product of o and negative 4n. So that is equal to 4 is squared plus o squared plus 16 in squared from negative 4n, so the square of negative 4n, that is positive 16, plus 4 is O. Then positive 2 times 2, that is 4. Then times negative 4, that is negative 16. We have negative 16 is N. Then 2 times negative 4, that is negative 8. Then O, N. Okay, for number 5, that is 2I squared plus 3A minus 5N. Okay, so that is the square of first plus square of 3A plus the square of negative 5N plus twice the product of 2I squared times 3A plus twice the product of 2I squared negative 5N plus twice the product of 3A times negative 5N. That is equal to 4I raised to 4 plus that is 9A squared plus 25N squared plus 12I squared A minus 20I squared N minus 30A N. Number 6, so we have 15A minus 4N minus 6 squared. So we have 15A squared plus negative 4 squared plus negative 6 squared plus twice the product of 15A and negative 4N plus twice the product of 15A times negative 6 plus twice the product of negative 4N times negative 6. That is equal to 225A squared plus 16 squared plus 36 minus 120A N minus 180A plus 48 N. The square of the first A squared plus B plus 4C squared plus twice the product of 4A times 4B plus twice the product of 4A times 4C plus twice the product of 4B times 4C equals 16A squared plus 16B squared plus 16C squared plus 32AB plus 32AC plus 32BC. 8. 9A squared plus 4B squared minus 3C squared is equal to 9A squared it's the square of 4B squared plus the square of negative 3c squared plus twice the product of 9a squared and 4b squared is twice the product of 9a squared times negative 3c squared plus twice the product of 4b squared and negative 3c squared was, so that is 81a raised to 4 plus 16b raised to 4 plus 9c raised to 4 plus 72a squared b squared minus 54 a squared c squared minus 24 b squared c squared. Number 9, 1.5a squared minus 2.3b plus 1. The square of 1.5a squared plus the square of negative 2.3b plus the square of 1 plus twice the product of 1.5 squared and negative 2.3b twice the product of 1.5 b squared and 1 plus twice the product of negative 2.3b and 1. Now that is equal to 2.25a raised to 4 plus 5.29b squared plus 1 minus 6.9a squared b plus 3a squared minus, we have 4.6b. Three 4x plus 4y over 3 minus 6. 0. So that is equal to 3 4x squared plus 4 third y squared plus negative 6 squared plus twice the product of 3 4 x and 4y over 3 twice the product of 3 4 x times negative 6 plus twice the product of 4y 3 times negative 6. So that is equal to 9 over 16 squared plus 16 over 9 y squared plus 36 plus this one instead. Okay. So that is 2x y positive times negative, that is negative. See how this one, that is negative x, then minus 16, because that is 1, that is we have 2 times 4 times 2, negative 16 y